Hey Bears fans, tell me something. How many seasons come down to the width of a post, the breath of the wind, the rhythm of a snap-hole kick that either slices through the Lake Michigan air or dives right as the crowd inhales? What if I told you a chess move just happened in Chicago that doesn't shout? It whispers, yet it could flip one-score Sundays, calm our fourth-quarter heart rate, and send a message to every veteran in that locker room that the bar just got higher? And what if I said it's real, not rumor, not a summer whisper, but an actual move made because the margin for error in this city is measured in yards and trust? Here's the promise. Stay with me and I'll walk you through the quiet decision that screams urgency. The psychology of pressure that either forges kickers or fractures them. How this front office just built leverage for game-winning drives. How Soldier Field conditions shape careers. And why this particular specialist, with a pedigree that once guaranteed confidence, arrives carrying both risk and redemption. We'll talk timeline, role, the message to the room, who feels the heat, and why this could change fourth quarters. And yes, by the middle of this video, I'll name the player, connect every dot, and lay out exactly what it means for the Bears in the next few weeks. Before we dive all the way in, this is Bears News Fan Report. If you love this team the way we do, hit subscribe, drop a like, and ring that bell so you don't miss the moments that actually move wins and losses. You're part of this with us. Let's start with the truth that hurts because it matters. Week 1 was a 3-point game, 27-24. The kind of scoreline that defines the NFC North and keeps you awake on Sunday night replaying tiny sequences in your head. You know the one I'm talking about. The long attempt from distance that could have changed the math. These are not abstract debates. In a league of razor edges, special teams are your insurance policy against bad series, stalled drives, and field position losing its nerve. When the ball leaves a kicker's foot at Soldier Field, it's not just physics, it's trust. And when trust wobbles, the entire sideline feels it. So picture the front office on Monday morning. You review tape, you look at operations, you grade the snap, the hold, the plant foot, the follow-through. You weigh what you saw against years of reliability and calm. You respect the veteran on the roster because he's earned that respect. But you also hear the quiet urgency in the building. You know the schedule won't slow down. You know the North is going to be decided by 3-point swings in November win. And you choose to act, not react. You add competition. You add the possibility of a different answer without blowing up the room. That's why this move is so interesting. Because the player Chicago just brought in isn't an anonymous leg. He's not a camp body or a midweek emergency foot. He is, in every sense, a bet on upside. A bet on pedigree. A bet on the idea that what once was can be again, in a new environment, with the right coaching and the right pressure profile. We're talking about a specialist who was drafted high for his position, who has made big kicks on big stages, and who has felt the swing from early promise to brutal spotlight. A player who, if he recalibrates, changes the temperature of late game drives because every coordinator calls plays differently when they believe 47 to 53 yards is actually in range. Think about the psychology here. When your operation believes it can catch 3 from the logo, your 2-minute drill opens up. Your OC is more willing to take the check down at 2-4 because third and medium is fine if you've got a leg you trust from the edge of the paint. Your quarterback doesn't force the tight window hero ball. Your head coach isn't chasing points out of fear. Confidence trickles down like that, and the inverse is true when you don't trust it. Drives press. Decisions tilt. The whole thing gets heavy. So Chicago makes a move that's low risk on paper, high leverage in reality. Add a kicker to the practice squad with draft capital in his past and a complicated recent history. Not to start a controversy, not to disrespect the veteran who's held the job, but to raise the floor and tighten accountability. This is how serious teams operate. You don't wait for the season to define you. You define the season early with competition. Now, let me zoom out for a second, because context matters. The player we're talking about hit more than 4 out of 5 as a rookie, but struggled last season. And this year launched with a performance that got the wrong kind of headlines, one make in 3 tries, including a surprising short miss and a block on another. That's not nothing. That's the kind of start that forces a franchise to ask hard questions. When that franchise decided to move on, it opened the door. Chicago walked through it all right. You've waited long enough. Here's the reveal. The Bears have signed former 49ers kicker Jake Moody to the practice squad. 25 years old, no 99 overall in the 2023 draft, a Michigan product with a big reputation and a leg to match. He hit 84% as a rookie, then slid to 70.6% last season. And in week 1 this year, he made one of 3 in San Francisco's 17-13 win in Seattle, missing from 27 and seeing another attempt get blocked. That performance led to a cut. Chicago made the call. He's behind veteran starter Cairo Santos right now. And yes, the timing matters when you remember a critical 50-yard miss in our 27-24 loss to Minnesota. The message isn't subtle. Elevate the standard. Create pressure. Keep every option open. Here's what it means practically. First, this is a practice squad flyer with real intent. You don't bring in a recent top 100 pick unless you want the room to feel it. It's competition without drama because the depth chart still respects the incumbent. But it's also a nudge. Earn every kick. Second, this is about range. Whether he's active or not in the short term, adding a leg known for distance changes weekly prep. You test more long balls in practice. You simulate late game ops. You evaluate the hold tilt, the lean, the rotation, and you build a confidence bank. Third, it's a hedge against weather. This is Chicago. October through December is a degree-by-degree negotiation with the sky. If Moody stabilizes his mechanics and the timing with the operation, particularly the plant angle that keeps the ball online in crosswinds, you suddenly feel free to play for 3 in spots that recently felt like coin flips. Let's talk about the human side, because you can't separate it from the stat line. Kicking is lonely. It's a craft built on repetition and a mind that forgives itself fast. Moody has ridden both sides of the wave. The pressure of draft status, the affirmation of early makes, the scrutiny of the last 12 months. Coming here isn't just a change of address. It's a chance to rebuild the story. New holder, new snapper, new expectations, same leg. Sometimes that's the reset a guy needs. And for Cairo? This isn't disrespect, it's clarity. Chicago believes in winning the small margins, and that means stacking options. He's a professional. He knows this league. The best answer is simple. Convert. Make the conversation boring. Keep the job yours by doing what you've done so many Sundays calmly, efficiently, without drama. Now, scheme ripple effects. If you trust your 50-plus range more, you can squeeze an extra possession out of halves by playing the sideline and the clock with more patience. You can lean into the defense's confidence because you're no longer terrified of coming up empty across the 35. Field position becomes a weapon again. And your return game calculation changes. Deeper kickoffs can turn touchbacks into strategy instead of hope, which keeps your coverage units fresher and shrinks hidden yardage. These are real edges in a division where everyone leans on defense and late possessions. Timeline matters too. Practice squad edition today, evaluation this week, another week of tape, and then decisions. You can feel how the staff will handle it. Keep the operation steady, but let the competition breathe. There's no need to rush a headline. Let the veteran lock his job by doing what he does. Let the newcomer rebuild confidence without the glare and keep the opponent guessing. The important part is already done. The bar has been raised. Every kick in practice matters. Every rep is graded like it decides week 15. For the locker room, moves like this say something very specific. Nobody is immune to pressure, and that's healthy. When players see that the staff is willing to squeeze every detail, it sharpens meetings. It sharpens walkthroughs. It sharpens Sunday. Championship cultures are built on that quiet tension, the kind that doesn't divide, but drives. If you're a defender, you love it. If you're a quarterback, you love it. If you're a special teamer, you definitely love it because good operations push everyone forward. There's also the narrative angle. People outside the building will say this is a panic reaction to week one. It's not. It's actually the opposite. Panic is emotional and loud. This is measured and targeted. You don't burn a spot for a young kicker with upside unless you've thought through the path to usefulness. Chicago just created optionality for itself, and optionality is power in a league that punishes rigidity. The Bears can keep the veterans steady, activate the newcomer when it makes sense, or simply use the threat of competition to get the best out of both. That's forward thinking, and if you're wondering about the risk, sure, there's volatility with any kicker who's coming off a dip, but there's also a reason he went where he went in the draft. The leg talent is real. The swing is real. The ball flight, when it's right, is Pro Bowl clean. The task now is alignment and consistency. Soldier Field will tell you the truth quickly. Chicago win does not lie. If the mechanics are back and the mind is quiet, you'll see it in warm-ups and you'll feel it on the sideline before it ever shows up on a box score dot. So here's where I land, and I'll own this as my take before we close. I absolutely love this move for what it is. Smart leverage. Keep Cairo Santos as the starter right now. He's earned the first crack at answering week one with professionalism and makes. Simultaneously, invest in Jake Moody's reset. Let him build timing with the operation, breathe in the environment, and find his ball again. If the veteran steadies the ship, you're stronger for having real competition behind him. If the wobble continues, you've already done the homework to pivot. Either way, the Bears just signaled to the league and to themselves that 3 points in Chicago will not be left to chance. That's grown-up football. That's how you win a division that refuses to give you clean air. Drop your thoughts below. Hit that subscribe if you haven't yet. And let's talk about it because in this city, where games are decided by inches and wind, the smallest decision we just watched might be the one that saves a season.